And so we have the body, we have the ka, we have the ba. There's two more elements. One is the shadow. That's easy, it's quick. As the God Ra is shining down on the earth, he casts his shadow. It just means you live in the realm of reality. That's all that means. The next one is the name. The name is very important. If your name doesn't survive, you cease to exist because no one remembers you. How many people in the ancient world do you know? You only know them by their names. Otherwise, you don't even know they even existed. And so to make sure they existed, they etched their names in stone. That's why you see all over temples and tombs, monuments, pillars, obelisks, go back. Monuments, pillars, obelisks are all engraved with names. In fact, right here is a list of names of kings. They put this everywhere at different locations so it wouldn't be forgotten. Now, next slide. And so if you weren't wealthy enough to put your name, to buy a big monument, what you could do is put your name in stone, eternal substance, over your doorpost and lintel. And that way you would be remembered forever. Next slide. And so why would God ask them to paint blood on the doorpost and lintel? Next slide. It's so that they could cover their names in the blood of the Lamb. See, the doors were painted red. This was a superstition the Egyptians had, that red protected them from evil spirits. But God said there's nothing that can protect you in the color red. It's the blood that protects you, and the blood on your door is not going to do anything. Blood over your name is what's going to save you tonight and what's going to save you for eternity. Next slide. In fact, if you look, you see that we have a nice illustration of that. I always miss that slide. Next slide. If you see in the book of Revelation, it actually says, all who dwell on the earth will worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life or the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Next slide. And anyone not found written in the book of life was cast in the lake of fire. Next slide. But shall by no means enter into it anything that defiles or causes an abomination or a lie, but only those who are written in the Lamb's book of life. The Lamb who died for you. If his blood is covering your name in the book of life, you will live forever. Next slide. And so, just like the Hebrews had to cover their names in the blood of the Lamb before they began their long journey to the promised land, so we also must cover our names, have our names covered by the blood of the Lamb and the Lamb's book of life as we begin our journey to the promised land. As we wait on the edge, as we're living here on the edge of eternity, waiting for Jesus to come back, we want to make sure our names are there, into that covenant relationship.